दादा गेले तर अजूनही
In a tragedy that will forever bear an imprint on Maharashtra politics, the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar, is no more. He died this morning at 8:45 a.m. in an air crash. We're going to get you the latest details that are coming in and what really it means for Maharashtra politics as well. What does it mean for the NCP? What does it mean for the Pawars in Maharashtra? All of that over the course of the next 45 minutes. Allow me to take you through the headlines. Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar dies in a plane crash in Baramati. Ajit Pawar's remains identified by his wristwatch. Ajit's family, distraught, breaks down in Baramati. His funeral to be conducted tomorrow, 11 a.m. Mystery deepens over Ajit Pawar's flight landing. No mayday call by the flight. Plane was given clearance to land by ATC. Crew did not respond to landing clearance by ATC. And tributes pour in for Ajit Pawar. Prime Minister Modi hails Pawar for empowering villages. Maharashtra Chief Minister Fadnavis and Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde meet Pawar family in Baramati. Spotlight on the poor record of Ajit Pawar's plane, same Learjet plane or a model of the same plane owned by the same company crashed in September 2023. Plane owner says aircraft was 100% safe. Meanwhile, opposition hints at conspiracy behind death of Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar. Mamata Banerjee asks why was Ajit Pawar planning to leave Mahayuti, demands Supreme Court monitored probe in the crash. We have the first reaction coming in from the Pawar family. Party patriarch, 85-year-old Sharad Pawar, who rushed to Baramati this morning, has spoken out after the demise of his nephew Ajit Pawar. Senior Pawars has said, do not politicize the death of Ajit Pawar. This is purely an accident. There is no politics in this. State has suffered immense loss. The loss cannot be filled. This is also somewhere down the line messaging to certain opposition leaders like Mamata Banerjee, who had alleged or insinuated conspiracy behind the death of Ajit Pawar, who was killed in an air crash this morning. The senior leader, Sharad Pawar, party patriarch of NCP, distraught this morning when we saw him reach Baramati. It was early this morning. He was leaving his home in Mumbai for a health medical checkup when he got to know that his nephew had been killed in an air crash. Listen in to Sharad Pawar. We'll get you more reactions.
महाराष्ट्राला एक प्रचंड मोठा धक्का आहे. एक कर्तृत्वान निर्णय घेण्याची शक्ती ज्यांच्यात आहे अशा व्यक्तीला महाराष्ट्र आज मुकला. हे काही नुकसान झालं ते भरून निघणार नाही, पण सगळ्याच गोष्टी आपल्या हातात नसतात. मी आज मीडियासमोर येणार नसतो, परंतु काही वृत्तपत्र हा अंगरात याच्यामागे काहीतरी राजकारण आहे अशा प्रकारची भूमिका कलकत्त्यावरून मांडली गेली. याच्यात राजकारण नाही, हा निवड अपघात आहे. त्याच्या यातना महाराष्ट्राला आम्हा सर्वांना सतत असतात. कृपा करून इथं राजकारण आणू नये एवढंच सांगायचं.
For someone who we've seen as a picture of composure, party patriarch Sharad Pawar barely being able to hold it together, breaking down. The first reaction coming in from the Pawar family, where he speaks of the loss of his nephew, something that the family would never be able to get over. A huge loss for Maharashtra is what he says. But he says something important in terms of the opposition is concerned, because there has been murmurs. You have Mamata Banerjee, who's come out and said it on record that there was a conspiracy behind Ajit Pawar's death and there should be a court-monitored probe. You have Sharad Pawar, who is very close to the likes of Mamata Banerjee, says, don't politicize this. This was an accident. It is something which we'll never be able to come out of as a family. It's a huge loss for Maharashtra. A man in grief, 85-year-old Sharad Pawar, speaking for the Pawar clan. That proverbial divide between Sharad Pawar and Ajit Pawar, where politics is concerned, today stands completely blurred. But what does it really mean for the NCP? What does it really mean when it comes down to the legacy of the Pawar? Will Ajit Pawar's death bring the NCP together? There is clearly a political vacuum. What next for the party and Maharashtra politics?
28 January, 8:45 a.m. Shock gripped the nation. The state of Maharashtra and the once powerful Pawar clan, Deputy Chief Minister and NCP Chief Ajit Pawar had died in a plane crash while travelling to Baramati. At 66, a six-time Deputy Chief Minister, a formidable power centre, a strong regional satrap, Ajit Pawar's sudden death has left a huge vacuum and pertinent questions on what lies ahead, importantly for the Pawars. The sharp divide that once split the Nationalist Congress Party on Tuesday appeared blurred. United in grief. The line separating the Ajit Pawar faction from the Sharad Pawar faction today was invisible. What was visible? A bereaved Pawar family standing together. The political split dates back to the dramatic events of November 23, 2019. When both Devendra Fadnavis and Ajit Pawar took oath at a dawn ceremony in Raj Bhavan. The union lasted only 88 hours and Sharad Pawar managed to bring Ajit Pawar back into the fold of the Mahavikas Aghadi alliance. Then, July 2023, the split was definitive, with Ajit Pawar breaking away from his uncle Sharad Pawar, taking a group of MLAs with him and joining the BJP Shiv Sena government, formally dividing the NCP into two rival camps, taking with him the party name and the symbol. Now there were two factions, Sharad Pawar NCP and the Ajit Pawar NCP. Both sides faced off with each other in epic battles. In Lok Sabha, Supriya Sule versus Sunetra Pawar. Sule defeated Ajit Pawar's wife in Baramati. Today, family ties ran deeper than politics. Supriya Sule was the pillar of strength for her sister-in-law Sunetra, not leaving her side in grief. In assembly elections, Ajit Pawar clinched a decisive victory from his traditional Baramati assembly constituency, defeating his nephew Devendra Pawar of the Sharad Pawar faction. Today, Devendra Pawar was one of the first to reach the hospital when the remains of his uncle were taken. The party patriarch Sharad Pawar, who had cut ties with his nephew, today in Baramati was unable to control his emotions.
मी अजित आशाताई अनंतराव पवार
Post-state assembly elections, Ajit Pawar with Mahayuti took oath as Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister.
कायद्याद्वारे स्थापित झाले आहे अशा भारतीय संविधानाबद्दल
Political compulsions later forced a limited reunion. Both factions came together for the Pune and Pimpri Chinchwad civic elections. The experiment, however, fell short, with the BJP defeating the NCP in what were once its strongholds. Brand Pawar was in peril, despite uniting. It was defeated on its own turf. Political circles were abuzz. Would the twain meet? Was a reconciliation on the cards? It was now a matter of survival. Ajit Pawar himself spoke of it just days ago.
कुछ विधायकों ने भी मेरे कान पे डाला कि
उनके एनसीपी एसपी के और आपके भी
नहीं उनके कि दादा सब हमें भी साथ लेके चलो क्योंकि अभी ऐसा हुआ है कि अपोजिशन वाले विधायक रहते हैं तो उनको उनके कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में जो भी डेवलपमेंट करने के लिए मदद लगती है उतनी मदद नहीं होती पहले तो ऐसा नहीं था अपोजिशन में रहने के बाद भी अपोजिशन का काम होता था
Now, with Ajit Pawar gone, the NCP finds itself at a crossroads. Questions on leadership, unity, and direction loom large. And above all, one question dominates: who will fill the void left behind by Ajit Pawar? And what will come of the legacy of the Pawars? Bureau Report, India Today.
Any minute now, what we've been given to understand, the mortal remains of Ajit Pawar will be taken away from the Ahilya Bai Holkar Hospital in Baramati back to the residence of Ajit Pawar, where the final rites will take place tomorrow. Through the course of the evening and the night, the well-wishers, the cadre of the NCP, people from Baramati who want to come and pay their final respect to Ajit Pawar will be allowed to do so. You know, there is a sense at times that, especially after the passing away of a political leader, especially in tragic circumstances like this, that one eulogizes them, make them larger than life. But where Baramati is concerned, for the people of Baramati, in the manner in which Ajit Pawar transformed Baramati, developed it, the people had already put him up on that pedestal, had already looked up to Ajit Pawar as someone who had nurtured that very constituency. And, you know, he's died too young, 66, but there is an irony to all of this and could be poetic in a manner, that it was Baramati that Ajit Pawar nurtured and rose from as a regional satrap, and today this is exactly the place where he breathed his last. What does it mean for the NCP? What does it really mean for the Pawars from here on? What does it mean for Maharashtra politics? I'm joined this evening by Jayant Menkar, political analyst and senior journalist, Shaina NC, national spokesperson on Shinde Sena, Mrinalini Nani Vadekar, editor, multimedia, Pudari, Dhaval Kulkarni, Senior Associate Editor, India Today Magazine, Shekhar, Iyer, Senior Journalist. We have also Rajdeep Sardesai, our consulting editor, who's joining us. Rajdeep, the passing away of Ajit Pawar, today when you look back, for someone who's followed the politics of Maharashtra, who followed Pawar so closely, what does this really mean for the Pawars?
Well, thank you very much, Preeti. Yes, it is a very sad day. The tragic death of Ajit Pawar, Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, in that plane crash, and it's a body blow really to the Pawar family, because Ajit Pawar is the one who effectively ran the NCP even when Sharad Pawar was part of the United Party as it was, and was the supremo of the party. It was Ajit Pawar who really ran the party in Maharashtra, especially for the last 2 decades. So he is the one who was directly connected with all the workers, the district functionaries of the NCP, and in his absence, it leaves a huge vacuum. Remember, Sharad Pawar himself is 85 now. Supriya Sule has spent most of her career in parliament in Delhi. And there are no other leaders, I would say, of stature in the NCP who can really take the party forward. Yes, there are important leaders that the party has, the likes of Chhagan Bhujbal or Jayant Patil. But to have someone who had virtually handled the nuts and bolts of the organization, I think that the party will miss, and that will affect in a way the way the NCP now functions. Does the NCP simply become an adjunct to the BJP and an NDA ally, even while deciding whether it should merge or not, is one question I think that the NCP and the Pawars will have to answer sooner rather than later. So for the Pawar family, which has always been a very tightly knit family, even after the breakup that took place in 2023, this is a massive blow to them.
Dhaval Kulkarni, you've been following Ajit Pawar, especially during the course of the recent, elections of local body polls, and this is when we saw the both Pawar factions coming in together. How do you view this tragic development where, the legacy of the Pawars are concerned and the larger future of the NCP?
Well, needless to say, this is very shocking and something that just came out like a bolt from the blue. But I think now, for the past few weeks, there has been talk that the two factions of the NCP, Ajit Pawar's NCP and the rival NCP, Sharad Chandra Pawar, if either merge or at least come together for all practical purposes. So I think that process will be hastened. Because the problem with the NCP is that though it has in that sense been the party of the government, it has been the party of governance. The party, despite being in power today, in the post Ajit Pawar scenario, lacks one unified leader or somebody who can keep the party together in a situation like this. Of course, they have regional satraps, they have sub-regional satraps, let's say somebody like Dilip Walse Patil or even Praful Patel or
Right.
Chhagan Bhujbal, who are leaders of a certain stature. But they don't have it in them to carry the party organization through, or maybe even, the command the loyalty of all MLAs. So I think it may be left to Pawar Senior and his party leaders to step in and strike a certain balance there. Because remember, Ajit Pawar was also the finance minister of Maharashtra.
True.
And the Maharashtra budget is due to be sort of tabled in the first week of March. So now the question is, will the chief minister do it by default, or will somebody from the NCP, Sharad Chandra Pawar, join the government and then present the budget? So I think it's a time of massive sort of, I would say, political upheavals, political churns,
political upheavals, political realignments. Dhaval, stay with me.
Also,
just stay with me. I'm going to come right back to you, Dhaval, because, in a way, it sounds so clinical, and that's the impermanence of life. And I think that we should all allow, us all for it to sink in. It's only been a couple of hours that Ajit Pawar is no more. And that's where we talk about the impermanence of life. Already one is talking about the politics of it all. What will be the permutations, combinations, who will fill in that void. And one really needs to take that moment and reflect on it. I want to just take you through the visuals that we are getting in. These are live visuals that are coming in from the Ahilyabai Holkar Hospital, where the mortal remains of Ajit Pawar had been kept. Well, they're going to be taken to the residence of Ajit Pawar, where the final rites will be conducted tomorrow. Through the course of the evening, people from Baramati, the cadre of the NCP, relatives, can come in to pay their final respects to Ajit Dada, of what he was known, where Baramati was concerned. Mrinalini Nanevadikar, you have followed Ajit Pawar very, very closely. How would you remember, or how would you think his legacy would be etched?
Actually, the NCP, because of his sad death and accidental death, has come to the crossroads. Supriya, who mostly looks after Delhi affairs, I don't feel that she will be able to monitor Maharashtra the way Ajit Dada used to do. Incidentally, his wife Sunetra Pawar, who now has become Rajya Sabha member, is also interested in politics. I remember an interview to local channel that was way back in 2014 when she had said Baramati people wanted her to contest instead of Supriya Sule. I don't know whether that relation is still strained or she has aligned with her in-laws. That is yet to be seen. Ajit Dada's son, they too had political ambition. Parth had a debut which was quite a tragic incident for Pawar family. So what happens in Pawar family needs to be seen. Ajit Dada was very brilliant as far as
All right, ma'am, I'll just, there's the sound come, what the sound that you can hear is the chaos, the grief, the bereavement right outside the hospital where the final remains of Ajit Pawar would just be brought in, and we have a live window there. All roads are leading to Baramati today. We've had our reporters who've been stuck in traffic over the course of the last couple of hours. Just to point out a regional satrap, but somebody like Ajit Pawar, Ajit Dada, the kind of respect that he commanded in the Satra Baramati region, and you can see that on your television screen. There's not an inch left anywhere. All you can see is an outpouring of bereavement grief. Earlier on, of course, there were chants that were raised on Ajit Dada Amar Rahe, and you will hear that again. But Shaina NC, today we have you not so much as a spokesperson of the Eknath Shinde Shiv Sena, but more so as someone who has seen Ajit Pawar, who has worked with him, and today shares a bit of that grief that his family is feeling. Shaina NC, you're on mute. Shaina, you're on mute.
संबोधित करने के लिए वो गए वहाँ रिस्क
Okay, we're going to cut across to China in just about a bit. Now, these are visuals that are coming in, right, I said, outside the Ahilya Bai Holkar Hospital. I want to bring in Jayant Menkar, political analyst, senior journalist. Jayant Menkar, what does this really mean right now for the NCP? Because it's come at the back of even of it coming together, a poor performance, even in areas like Baramati, which is its strongest hold, very little limited options that lie in front of it today.
See, let us accept that this NCP is confined to 3 or 4 districts, Maharashtra, and particularly with the split in NCP, Ajit Pawar group became strong, and now with Ajit Pawar is not being there, will Sunetra Pawar or Parth Pawar fill in his shoes, and will their leadership be acceptable to the Ajit Pawar faction? Someone like Chhagan Bhujbal would come. We cannot forget.
Mr. Menkar, can I just, I'm sorry I'm coming in, and the reason I'm really coming in is because I think we're just going through the visuals there. These are tragic visuals, and this is, tragedy, that the untimeliness of it all that has been scripted this morning, which will forever have a bearing in Maharashtra politics, which will forever have a bearing on the Pawars. Who you see inside right now are the two sons of Ajit Pawar, Parth Pawar and Jay Pawar, and you can see them. These are tragic visuals, and sadly, when you're public figures, your grief is on display. Mr. Menkar, continue. Go ahead, sir.
And in this situation, will someone like Chhagan Bhujbal would come in, or there were talks of MCs coming together? We cannot forget, Sunetra Pawar attended even RS enclave also. So obviously, Ajit Pawar trying to go close to RSS I mean, there was a talk on that Prithviraj Chauhan had it, that it is quite possible that the group may go helter-skelter. It is quite possible that some from CP may join even BJP, and BJP may get strengthened, which is as a single largest falling short to absolute majority or simple majority of 145. So I think that there will be political upheavals, though some are also saying that nothing will happen and the split party, Ajit Pawar's faction will continue, but I think so. There will be political upheavals
True.
and there may be a possible merger or at least break in the
A possible
NCP
merger or a
faction of
possible
Ajit
break
Pawar.
where the NCP is concerned. Once again, viewers, these are the visuals, and you can see that kind of love that Ajit Pawar had where the people of Baramati are concerned. Let's try and connect once again with Shaina NC. Shaina, if you can hear us this time, I come to you less as someone who's a spokesperson of the Shiv Sena, Eknath Shinde, but more so as someone who has worked alongside Ajit Pawar, who's seen him, who've known him personally. How would you remember? Shaina, can you hear me?
I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, we can. Go ahead, Shaina.
You can. I said, let me start by paying condolences to Ajit Pawar, Dada, and his entire family, Sunetra Vaini, Jay, Parth. They are my neighbors, my immediate neighbors. We share the same boundary wall, and over the years, one has seen the way he has worked tirelessly, not just for Baramati, but also for the people of Maharashtra. And every morning, Preeti, believe it or not, even today, from 6 a.m. to 7:30, he meets with people outside his home, and one sees the kind of crowds that assemble there. So 50 years of being in public life, I wish people would take a different perspective today, Preeti, and Rajdeep would know that, everyone thinks that, oh, a politician must go on a helicopter or a plane or by road or by train, but definitely make it to the Jilla Parishad campaign, go here, go there. Everyone does it, but there is a risk attached too, which one needs to be sensitive about. So when one hears comments like Mamata Banerjee's, it's so unfortunate that today you want to bring in politics even here to say that people are not safe. Look at the amount of people who have lost lives, whether it is Jyotiraditya ji's father or Sachin Pilot losing his life, or Pankaja Munde's father Gopinath Munde, or for that matter, even more recently Rupani ji. And this has all been travel prone accidents. That's what we need to focus on, travel prone accidents, and understand that rather than playing conspiracy theory, it's time to also understand how difficult the life of a politician is. And as we bid farewell to him, we give him accolades for being the Irrigation Minister, Finance Minister, and of course the Deputy Chief Minister, working tirelessly from Baramati as an MLA to becoming a Deputy Chief Minister. 50 years in service is a long, long innings. And when you pay tribute, you don't play speculation and politics there. That's my limited point.
No, a fair point, Shaina. And I think that was something that was shut down and has been shut down with, with Sharad Pawar himself coming out and saying that it was an accident, don't politicize it.
Amit.
And it was possibly in bad light to attribute it to a conspiracy theory without any proof. So, that all aside, I want to, bring in Shekhar Iyer. Before we get in Shekhar Iyer, I want to cut across right now to the residence of Ajit Pawar, where the mortal remains are going to be taken. Then Antim Darshan for anyone, and all roads, like I said, lead to Baramati today, who want to pay their final respects to Ajit Dada can come and do so. And the final rites will take place tomorrow. The last rites of the Deputy Chief Minister with full state honors. Maharashtra is in 3-day mourning. Moshmi, if you can hear us, I do understand there's not an inch to move where Baramati is concerned. All roads either leading to the Ahilyabai Holkar Hospital in the morning, and now everyone coming to the residence of Ajit Pawar, where the mortal remains will rest.
Truly, Preeti, we've driven from Pune to Baramati, and in this entire stretch, we've seen that this entire stretch has come to a standstill, as if time has stopped for the people here. There is a sense of great loss, a sense of great tragedy, as Ajit Dada, they lovingly called Ajit Pawar, has left for his heavenly abode. And They are now waiting for a last glimpse of him. The Vidya Pratishthan not far away from here. You can see the stream of cars right behind me, people walking on foot, and we've in fact had to walk for a while to get closer, anywhere closer to this place from Baramati Hospital. His mortal remains will be brought here at the Vidya Pratishthan, and you know, what a political legend he was, a grassroots leader. I've spoken to a lot of party workers, and it's not only the NCP workers who are here. It is the common man, farmers, people cutting across the political spectrum, workers from other parties as well, who are waiting to see a last glimpse of him.
Right.
Even if you look behind me, this entire city, there is a very, very sorrowful look throughout as I've come in here, and now anytime now his mortal remains will be brought to
we're going to come right back to you, Maushmi. It's a city in mourning, and you know, one is reminded when Vilas Rao Deshmukh passed away, and Latur, all you could see was a sea of grief, people coming in from everywhere in an outpouring of bereavement. Shekhar Iyer, for someone who's followed regional politics and regional politicians, it's a void very, very difficult to fill. Ajit Pawar, especially in the area of Baramati, Satara, nobody could displace him. And you can see that kind of love today. And that void will be very, very difficult to fill.
Indeed, Preeti, the Pawars, both Sharad Pawarji as well as Ajit Pawarji, they had some kind of an iconic effect, particularly on the community they represented in Western Maharashtra. So today when you see people, and also the manner of his death, that has completely shocked and left people speechless. So therefore, you know, the question about what will be the future of NCP, what will be the call that Sharad Pawar would take, so these are questions today, none of us are able to even focus on that.
True.
Because of the sheer tragedy that has happened today. But at the same time, there will be pressure coming up in the next few days as the grief continues for the families, both Sharad Pawar's family as well as Ajit Pawar's family, and as well as other people, both the NCPs, for them to come together. And I would expect the patriarch, Sharad Pawar himself, to step in and probably, you know, take a call and appeal to everybody to see that NCP remains the voice of the community that it has represented all these years, because it's very important. And that's a community that has now been shifting loyalty from NCP to other parties, including the BJP. So there will be political fallout of this tragedy that has happened. So I think in the days to come, you're going to see some major developments concerning NCP. And at the same time, I would venture to say that it has been, you know, in the very fact that they came together for the Pune as well as Pimpri Chinchwad elections goes to show that there is a lot of reasoning among NCP leaders that it is very important. Even Ajit Pawar mentioned it in the interview to your channel also, that a lot of people feel, those who are in the opposition NCP, that
they need to come together.
They have to come together for the sake of answering the
and you couldn't be
constituents.
You're right, you know, Shekhar Iyer, because also, you know, it's difficult to even think and fathom at the back of this tragedy. But then, you know, that's the sad part. And I think the futility of life, or the, just if you look at it, you know, how short life is, because you're already speaking of, and one is already, you know, dissecting on who would replace Ajit Pawar, how will the NCP now go? So, you know, that's how sad it is, the impermanence of life there. All right, we're getting news break coming in. Home Minister Amit Shah will be visiting Baramati tomorrow. Amit Shah, the Home Minister, will pay his last respects to Ajit Pawar. Ajit Pawar's funeral procession will take place tomorrow at 9 a.m. He will be cremated tomorrow at 11 a.m. in Baramati. All right, I want to cut across back to Rajdeep Sardesai. You know, Rajdeep, in the morning, you and I were speaking of the fact that how, you know, it's not one. You go all the way back to Sanjay Gandhi, something that even China also touched on how politicians have suffered, you know, their lives getting cut short with accidents. If you look at air tragedies, young, ambitious lives cut short, political careers cut short with tragedies. Go back to Sanjay Gandhi, you had Madhav Rao Scindia, recently Vijay Rupani, YSR Reddy, he wouldn't have, possibly there wouldn't have been a Telangana today if YSR was alive. So it's just the tragedy of it all, one can't get away from. But when you look at Ajit Pawar's legacy, Rajdeep, how do you reflect on that?
Well, how does one reflect on the legacy of someone like Ajit Pawar, who was Deputy Chief Minister half a dozen times but never became the Chief Minister of Maharashtra? By all accounts, he was very hardworking, was a very able administrator, understood his ministries very well, Preeti, but he was also very impatient. He never hid his ambition. He wanted to be the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, and that almost became an obsession with him, that if his kaka or his uncle Sharad Pawar could be Maharashtra Chief Minister multiple times, why couldn't he be at least Chief Minister once? And somewhere, I think towards the end of his career, it meant that he broke away from his uncle. There was also the fear of the ED at the time, and chose to be on the right side of power. So it will be a legacy that is a little splintered. His critics will see Ajit Pawar as someone who was symbolizing the growing corruption that was taking place in Maharashtra, serious allegations of corruption against him. And there will be his admirers who say he was a truly rooted politician, someone who had his ear to the ground, who was connected with his people, and through good times and bad, the people of Baramati had largely stood by him, and that's because he had built this personal rapport with them and had built institutions in and around Baramati. So his legacy will just depend on who you ask that question to.
Well, you are right there, Rajdeep. And it's like I said, one needs to reflect on the dynamics of even the Mahayuti, because Ajit Pawar was also, and that is what even Devendra Fadnavis said, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, that was a dear friend, and it was a dear friend. And we'll bring in Dhaval as well, because if you look at, go all the way back to 2019, that 5:30 a.m. in the morning, when everybody woke up to an oath-taking ceremony of Devendra Fadnavis with Ajit Pawar, that union might have lasted just 88 hours, but there was a friend that Devendra Fadnavis saw in Ajit Pawar. Even, Dhaval will also be able to tell us how it was Ajit Pawar that helps Devendra Fadnavis to possibly keep the ambitions of his other deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde in check. So there will be somewhere down the line a disbalance in that as well. So Rajdeep, I want to ask you, and then we'll cut across to Dhaval as well. How do you see it change, the dynamics within the Mahayuti after the passing away of Ajit Pawar?
Well, Preeti, that's a very interesting question, because the Mahayuti is a unique tricycle. There's the BJP, which is now the dominant party of Maharashtra politics, but it has two other wheels. The Shiv Sena, that's the Shinde group, and the NCP led by Ajit Pawar. Now it appears one of those wheels could be falling away. That's the Ajit Pawar group. Does that strengthen Eknath Shinde in a way? And how does that affect the relationship of Eknath Shinde with Devendra Fadnavis? Over the last 12 months, Eknath Shinde has been chafing at the bit, wanting to once again become Chief Minister, knowing that won't happen easily. And life, therefore, hasn't been as easy as it otherwise might have been for Devendra Fadnavis. But it's very clear to me that Fadnavis is Maharashtra's Neta number one. The BJP is party number one. How he now deals with his allies will be yet another challenge for him. How he handles a restive Shinde and an NCP without Ajit Pawar, which could easily splinter in different directions, fragment, will, I think, pose some kind of a challenge to the Mahayuti. But I do believe that this government of the Mahayuti will clearly last the 5 years, because it has such power both at the center and in Mumbai, that the allies can only do so much, as we saw even in the recent municipal elections.
Rajdeep, I just want to draw our viewers' attention to what they see. It does break, it does break your heart, Rajdeep, where these visuals are coming in right now. You have that picture which is lit of Ajit Pawar, and all you see is a sea of people, and that's a sea of grief, a sea of bereavement. I just want to bring in for one final time Shaina NC and Dhaval Kulkarni. Shaina, if you can encapsulate it in very short, how would you remember Ajit Dada?
An able administrator, probably one of the finest and best that Maharashtra has seen. Extremely hardworking, as I said, being my neighbor, I know that he woke up every day at 6 in the morning and you'd see crowd outside Devgiri, meet with one and all, and 50 years to consistently do this kind of activity of reach out to people from Maharashtra, I think in itself is a
Right.
great, great tribute to somebody who rose from the ranks. And this is not just the loss of Baramati. I think this is a loss to young aspirational India and Bharat, because he was a leader who literally from an MLA became the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra.
And one can only sense, and Dhaval, I'm coming to you, but I just want, can we just get the surround sound of the live visuals that are coming in? And maybe our viewers can get a sense on the popularity of Ajit Dada, Ajit Pawar, where Baramati was concerned. Go full screen for just about a second and we'll go to Dhaval.
आपापल्या जागेवर स्तब्धपणे उभे राहा. या प्रसंगी आपलं अनुकरण ज्या पद्धतीनं असणं अपेक्षित आहे त्या पद्धतीनं मला सगळ्या नागरिकांनी प्रतिसाद द्यावा ही तुम्हाला विनंती आहे. एकमेकाला रेटारेटी
to bring you in, it's a sea. Baramati today is a sea of bereavement and grief. But I want to come back to the question that I had asked Rajdeep, because yes, there's so much talk of the NCP coming together. Will it come together, not come together? What will come of the Pawars after, after losing their strongest regional face in Ajit Pawar? But there's also the Mahayuti. And for Devendra Fadnavis, if he had to pick one deputy chief minister that he could really rely on, it had always been Ajit Pawar.
See, Preeti, all said and done, the turmoil in the NCP will also affect the internal dynamics of the Mahayuti. So, some people, who want to retain their own independent existence while also remaining in power may want to go with Pawar Senior, while a faction of the NCP will say, okay, we'll go with BJP. But at the same time, I think we must also bear in mind the fact that politics is very impermanent. Let us not forget that from 2010 to 2014, when Ajit Pawar was the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, it was this very BJP which made a number of allegations against him, be it the alleged irrigation scam or the alleged scam in the Maharashtra State Cooperative Bank. Ironically, Ajit Pawar happened to be one of the strongest pillars of this government from 2023 to date. And in fact, his passing and the resultant turmoil in the Mahayuti may actually end up strengthening Eknath Shinde.
Right. I appreciate, all our guests for joining us this evening with, I want to go to Maushmi though. I want to cut across to Maushmi. Maushmi, if you can hear me, I reckon the mortal remains, the van has reached the residence of Ajit Pawar in Baramati. Maushmi, can you hear me?
That's happening. Yeah. And any moment here at Vidya Pratishthan, Preeti, the mortal remains of Ajit Dada would arrive here. You can hear that people are standing wherever they can get any space, standing on tractors, trucks, that side, of Ajit Pawar right in the center. He had won hundreds and lakhs of hearts. He was a leader who held a lot of promise, and you can see that there are lots of youngsters, lots of cross-section of people from the poorest of poor to the youngsters to the elderly, women. I've seen them towards this ground where his mortal remains at the Vidya Pratishthan are being brought, and you can see that there is an eagerness in terms of bringing goodbye to their beloved leader, the son of the soil, the Ajit Dada, who was in fact the king of Baramati in terms of the fact that here people are offering water to help anybody coming. We've been standing here since throughout. Lots of people who come from villages all across, all in and around Baramati, and that's the kind of aura, that's the kind of power and love that people here really had for Ajit Pawar. You can see that on dais.
Yeah, but there's a problem with your audio and video link, Mosh. Maybe we're going to try and rectify that. And understandably, with the kind of crowd, the groundswell of grief that you see there, the networks are sketchy. We're going to go back to our reporters on ground. That's the final journey of Ajit Pawar. And for the people of Baramati, this is heartbreak.